Okay. It's 9 o'clock. The meeting's called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome everybody to the November 25th Pipestone County Commissioners meeting. Agenda has been presented before the meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I do have one change. At 10:15, we complete the home tax abatement for Allison Dowdy. They decided to hold their abatement request. That's the only change I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
That correction, I'll move the agenda.
Support that.
Motion second to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we're looking for the approval of the consent agenda, which includes minutes of 11/12/25, Commissioners warrants amount of $106,000, $106,001.82. That was a tough one. 11/14/25, 11/21 auditor warrants, hospital warrants amount of $632,137.92.
Jared, move for approval. Second it.
Thank you. Motion second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. First up, we have Nick Bergman, Highway Engineer. Morning, Nick.
Yep. All right, pretty light for me today. First up, I'm requesting to purchase some crack seal material. We found out that if we order it, take delivery before January 30th, we can get a little bit of a discount on it. This is boxed material, so that's a little bit cheaper than individually wrapped. And this is for our 2026 work.
I'd make a motion to approve purchase from Mid-States.
I will second.
Okay, a motion second to approve the purchase of supplies from Mid-States. Is there any further discussion?
Is this a 12-month supply or?
Yeah, kind of depends on weather in the spring, but it'll keep if we don't use it all. So, yeah, it's with Nate being gone for a while coming up, I wanted him to do all this normal bidding stuff ahead of time. And that's how we found out that if we take it
Early order.
early, we get a little bit of a discount. So
It's for Dan's, it usually gets all used before weight restrictions come back on. Or off, before they come off, sorry.
Before they come off.
I mean, you use in that period, like from spring to when you can start. and
Yeah.
Usually done by that, so.
yeah, it'll save us a few $100 getting it early anyway, so might as well, in my opinion. So.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, next up for me, would be, I'd like to talk about purchasing a new plow truck. Same thing, it's a 2026 budget item, but I wanted Nate to look at that early. 11, which has about 249,000 miles and 11,000 hours. We have a total of 342,000 budgeted between 26 and 25. The new machine comes with a 7-year warranty. Tariff charges change quarterly, so if we delay this, it might go up or down. I don't really know, but just know that could change. So when we do a plow truck, it's kind of two purchases together. We have to buy the chassis somewhere. And then that goes off to a body manufacturer and then they put the snow plow equipment on. So it's kind of two purchases we're looking at here. So the cheapest truck was I-State Truck Center. It was a Freightliner. And then for the plow body, there's the two suppliers we got quotes from would be J-Craft and Tollmaster. We kind of have a difference or a split opinion in the shop as far as what guys prefer, so I would say they're comparable. The J-Craft is a little bit more, but we would get that sooner, and why that matters to me this time is because, we have to turn our old one in, within 2 months after we buy the truck. So if we went with the J-Craft, we would be without a truck, the spare truck for a couple months in the summer. Versus if we waited and did the Towmaster, we'd be without it for this summer and the following plowing season, and that makes me really nervous, so.
Really dealing with two different companies here then, aren't you?
Yes, we were dealing with I-State for the body, and then J-Craft for the, or excuse me, I-State for the chassis and J-Craft for the body. Another thing I do want to point out, though, that this is a 2026 budget item. I understand that there may need to be cuts may need to be made yet. And if you're gonna have us trim something down, this is what I would delay for a year. So I want to make sure everybody knows that, so. So, if we did proceed with this, the two items together would be $294,550 plus whatever tax and registration are on top of that.
It's been put off 1 year already, Nick, or I don't remember.
I
think
budgeted
it
for half of it last year, so that's probably what you're thinking of. But, so I budgeted half last year, then the other half this year, and I think I will have over budgeted a little bit, it looks like, but, and then probably another reason to do it this year would be, we have two motor graders about the same age and hours. We just ordered the one, so the next one is definitely gonna be needed to be done next year, and I don't have anything budgeted for that yet. So I mean, that'll be a full motor grader next year. So if we did put this off, we're talking a full motor grader and half a truck. So it'd be a pretty big hit next year, so, but, you know, if we need to trim it this year, we can, so.
I mean, this is kind of the standard, all the, one-way plow and the wing and the underbody, and it's the same as your.
It's the same as, yeah, I said to do it the same as we've been doing it, so I guess I don't know all that much
Well,
about
no, but
trucks, so.
I would assume it's the same as you're doing.
Yeah, we did actually, somebody, I don't remember what company it was, but they reached out. They had two on the lot that were outfitted, ready to go. But it had had kind of a weird transmission. It was a manual that kind of shifted itself.
Auto shift.
Yeah, we've been through that before. I feel like it wasn't that great. And it was 30,000 more, so I didn't even show it on here. So we checked into it, but there was a couple things I didn't like about that, so.
My Christian school math, you got, 179,000 for this year's budget, but you also already have 162, correct? For 25?
Yeah, 162 was,
So if you take that off of the purchase price of 294, you're gonna use 132,000 of next year's budget. And next year's budget is 179, so we could lower that budget 20,000.
so I think when I have a total of 342, that should be 179.5 plus 162.5, correct?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the two different budget amounts.
He's just saying you're over budget. I mean, you over budgeted money.
I think I see where you're going here. If this gets approved, I could reduce my budget by the balance of this.
The difference,
Yeah, I did look that up, but yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
40 some, 45,000.
Yep, so I could.
So it wouldn't have to cut the whole thing.
Correct. I could adjust my budget by the balance of whatever this is. I don't have that number right offhand, but.
Okay.
But what you're saying sounds ballpark, what it could be, so.
Nick, this unit number 11, then 247 or 49,000 miles. How many years old is this unit number 11?
Ooh.
06.
Yeah,
Right?
well, no, I think I was here when we got this one, if I remember right.
And what's the life expectancy is,
Oh, no, not 06.
is two
Well,
hundred fifty?
we usually didn't go by years, we always went by miles.
Miles, yeah.
But this is a little lower miles than
Yep.
we used to do, but it's got more hours because it was a sprayer truck.
Yeah,
So you put a lot of hours on and you're going 10 miles an hour, so it got more hours than it got.
yep. Yeah, so it's not high miles, it's
Right.
the hours aspect,
Right.
because
I think usually we got into 320-ish or so when we did it. I think what I remember.
And the warranty on the new truck we're looking at is 250,000 miles, nothing but hours on the warranty.
7 year, 250,000 miles, and then there was some other things that it covered too. I can't remember how he said that, but
And how does it
yeah, so I don't know what the hour warranty is on that. I just know it's 250,000 miles.
Doug and Nick, how does that compare with the rest of the fleet as far as hours and miles?
Well, like I say, usually, on a gravel truck or a plow truck, then, we look at it once they hit 300,000.
Right. You know,
Hours, I don't remember, what they, we weren't always necessarily going by hours, really. We're usually going by miles.
but how much of risk would we be taking if we deferred this for a full year?
Well, I don't, personally, I don't think it's a big risk.
No.
Other than the price will go up.
Yeah,
Well, that's forever,
Ruin an engine.
yeah.
You can, but things happen.
Yeah.
11,000
hours is.
They're automatic,
considerable.
they're automatic transmissions and they're expensive. So, no, you just take the risk,
Yeah, you got number 11 in 2006, November.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was later than that, but
That's a shocker.
yeah.
So frame and chassis rust wise.
Well, what I remember, I mean, I've been gone 5 years now, but what I remember, it was a good truck, but.
Yeah, so my opinion on that one, based on my recollection, and Nate or probably anyone in the back, we better answer that almost, but I think it's an old enough truck to where it doesn't have like all the bells and whistles that start going bad and leaving you sitting,
It's not a DEF truck.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's before they got enough technology to shut themselves down all the time for random sensors and stuff, so. Yeah,
The new one will have that, right?
Yes.
we'll have that, yes.
It might have, I'm not sure, that might have been one of the first fully automatics.
I think it was.
I think it might have been, because
So-
we had an auto shift first and then this one, the fully automatic, I think.
Yeah, I think, was this Dan's new?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was,
okay.
yeah.
So yeah, this was the newest truck when I started, so.
And as far as trading value, if we run it another year, of course, would be depreciated more.
I don't think that's
Not really.
that.
So it's not.
Not the trade, it won't.
I think trade was either 20 or 28. I can't remember what this dealer offered. I assume this was, since they were a little bid, this is probably the $28,000.
25.
And we offer, oh, yeah, it's right.
8.5, it says.
Mhm.
So we were guessing around 10,000 trade, but must have liked it when they saw it, so.
Inflation, so.
Yeah.
I guess my personal preference is, I like to run things long. And I know you run a risk of major repairs if you do that, but the general philosophy is let it buck, keep running it.
We can work with anything. I don't have strong feelings on this one, so that's why I pointed out that, if something needs to be cut or something, this would be the what I would cut. So I'm really fine either way, so.
That, we could very well be proven wrong and halfway through the year, we drop a tranny on it, but that's
it,
just,
you don't know. They don't, the guys aren't hard on them or anything.
no,
Things do happen.
yep. In fact, they take good care of the equipment.
They do. Oh, yeah. They
appreciate
do.
that.
Yeah, they're well maintained, all the oils and everything.
But knowing we have to get a full grader next year, it might be better to just get it over with and.
No,
That's another thought too, yeah.
next year is gonna be worse budgeting than this year.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh,
I'm gonna make the motion to approve this purchase, I-State truck for the chassis and, J-Craft the body.
I'll support that.
Okay, with motion support, to approve the purchase of Freightliner chassis, Jake Craft body for a total of $294,550. Is there any further discussion?
And lower your budget, the difference.
Oh, yeah. It's like
Doesn't need to be. a
4%
motion.
of the budget or
Need a motion on that.
whatever, yeah.
Is there any further discussion? Now I'll call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same. Okay. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Nick.
Hey,
Ready for
trucks are ready to go. I think we're gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
they're, they're not out today, you know, they're, said they'll be having backed in, ready to go, so.
Finishing culvert on County 9
Yep, that should be done this morning. I didn't get done yesterday, but,
because of the fog. There's fog down there again this morning.
okay, so I'm not sure then, but
Well,
we'll do what we can,
it's a little
so.
scary when you come up to, oh, all of a sudden construction, you're not
Yeah,
fog.
right, so.
They were off the road anyway, so.
Good warning signs or?
Big white,
They had lighted warning signs, so, but still.
um,
Also came up on a farmer behind something, so.
We certainly got some bonus work days this fall, though. That was very nice.
yeah, I remember, I know we did a construction job once and it froze up on us. I think it was right around the 1st of November, you know, we couldn't haul dirt anymore, so I know that happens, so. When we get to almost Thanksgiving, I'll take that, so.
You're too young to remember the blizzard of 91.
I remember trick or treating in deep snow over my costume, so that was fun. Sure, I got my candy, so. So, other than that, that's all I had. Any other questions for me?
Anything for Nick?
Nope.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
we have a committee meeting after this, so I'll hang around. If something does come up, I'll be here anyway, so.
Sounds good. Since Kyle is not present, do you wanna, there we go, Charlotte. Yep, we'll do personnel.
Good morning.
Morning, Carla.
Report today. We still have 2 open positions that, one closed Sunday, one closed yesterday. So working to review those applications and set up interviews. And of course, we can't go a meeting without discussing the Minnesota paid leave. On November 18th, we had a department head meetings that I presented the draft Minnesota paid leave policy with them for department heads to review and provide feedback. And yesterday I had sent that off to our labor attorney for review, before I bring that to the board for final approval. But that'll be coming either next meeting or the 23rd meeting, for that policy. And then on November 19th, I attended a MetLife implementation webinar. They're going to be our third-party administrator for our Minnesota paid leave. They kind of went over how the claims process will work, employees finalizing or initiating a claim, providing documents, and what that instruction documents will look like. That'll be going out to employees along with the finalized paid leave policy. And that's all I have for you. Any questions?
Else? Go ahead. Else?
I have a question. On the paid leave, is that any foreknowledge of that have to be given to the employer or not? They just call up in the morning and say, I can't come.
So in order to be eligible, they have to substantiate a 7-day period. So with any of the family or medical leaves, they have to be out for 7 days before they would be eligible for any type of benefit. Yes, that benefit is retroactive, but that absence has to initially be 7 days For an intermittent leave, it has to be 8 hours total. So
Do they have to notify the employer beforehand?
yes, our policy states that we require at least a 30-day notice prior to the absence beginning. However, there will be extenuating circumstances where, someone may get into an accident and, that prior notice wasn't available. So
But if it's like
The
an
ru-
upcoming surgery or something, then it'd be
rule of
30
thumb will
days.
be 30 days. Yep.
Well, that would help out with scheduling, I'm sure, for the,
First, you still have the normal sick leave though.
Yep.
where
if you have
you're
to
sick in
wake
the
up sick in the morning, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sick leave, not paid family.
You still have that.
The interviews, the upcoming interviews, you had good turnout, good interest in in applications?
Yeah, we had 7 for one and 8 for the other.
Oh, wow. Very good. Oh, is that higher than normal for applications?
She's not been here that long.
Yeah.
That sounds.
That's
Weird since I've been here.
Is it? Okay. Okay. No, that's good. Fantastic. Yeah. Anything else for Charlotte?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Steve, are you prepared for the Southwest Health and Human Services lease agreement?
Yeah, sure am. Kind of buried down in your packet.
Yeah.
This is the same agreement terms as the 25. This will be in effect for January 1st, 2026 through the end of the year. Page 2. Changes in the rent, item number 4. Basic rent is $38,000 annually, $20,000 for utilities, maintenance, total $58,000, which this year they decided they wanted to start paying monthly instead of quarterly, so monthly is on here again. So I send them every quarter 3 invoices for the following quarter, and they turn around and pay us. So other than that, there were no other changes to the agreement.
Mr. Chair, if I may add then, in the future, last week's meeting, Health and Human Services, it was discussed up there with the other 6 counties. And they vary. There's nothing really uniform amongst the 6 counties. So that's something they're looking at. It doesn't look like it's going to happen yet in 26. So I think in 27, it's going to be a complete different. We're the only county that breaks out utilities and maintenance and so forth. Everybody else is just a flat per square footage fee. So it's going to be reevaluated.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Yep.
Is it a bigger fee that they get?
Actually, we're substantially lower than anybody else. Yeah. Which, again, we talked about it before, seems how we're paying it ourselves as a 6th of that group, but they're gonna try to get everybody on the same level.
All right, well, we'll be looking for a motion to approve the lease agreement for 2026. Thank you.
I'll second.
All right. Motion second to approve the Southwest Health and Human Service lease agreement for 2026. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Guess we'll keep moving along with other business. Area 2 RCRCA agreement.
This is just for area 2, actually, but
Area
it's
2?
similar
Okay.
to the RCRCA one that we approved a while back.
Right.
The only difference is it'll be self-renewing and won't have to come before us every other year. I think there's some slightly different language about withdrawal, but it's unlikely to happen, so.
Okay.
Well, I'd move for approval.
Thank you, Lou. For a second.
Okay.
Okay. Doug, second. Motion second to approve the Area 2 Joint Powers Agreement. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, continuing with other business, 2026 shotgun zone deer hunting law change.
Chairman, I put this on here. Commissioner Wildermuth had been talking to me about this and just want to talk, there is no recommendation or anything at this point. It's too early in this, but we've all been aware, we've been to the AMC district meeting. This has brought up lots and lots of discussion. I do know that this will be brought up at the AMC conference in December. So if you're planning on going there, look forward to more. Counties are all over the map on this. And other than that, I don't know what else to say about it at this time. Some are very much for it, some are very much against it. And it's, we're talking, the DNR did this and the law will be changing based on the information we have here in January of 26. And counties will have to make a decision during that first quarter of 2026 if they want to stay the course of what the state has done to authorize a rifle zone, along with shotgun zone, or some counties are looking at, following it, others are looking at changing it.
Didn't the legislature do this?
So this is a legislative
Right, so
action.
I mean,
It's
DNR is
not the
just-
counties.
Taking it on because they're being told to.
I presume the legislature worked together to get this
Yeah.
done somehow. I mean, it had to go both ways. They had to bring it DNR to the legislature. I'm sure the committee for that, and then bring it back, and then it got voted on and it passed. So, but
The reason I mentioned it to Steve, I've had a few people from the sportsman's community ask me about it, and they're again, like Steve said, opinions on both sides. So kind of wondering if it wouldn't be appropriate for us just to have a public meeting so the sportsmen can come and express to us if they can even come to a consensus themselves. You guys be interested in maybe doing something in December for a meeting?
I would recommend we do it, if we do after the first of the year, there is no hurry to do it in December. We don't have enough meetings to do it in December anyway. We've got the 2nd and the 23rd.
That's right, because the way this is written, it doesn't go into effect until the next hunting season, the hunting season of 26.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll be notified, as it says there, by March 1st of 26, DNR will notify counties of their option to pass a restrictive ordinance and provide a model ordinance. So we have until, 3rd month. There'll be more information coming. Like I said, I don't recommend you take any action on this today. This is just I guess this is a teaser information.
Yep.
That's what is out there, what is going on. And again, counties are all over the map on this. Some want to authorize using rifles. Others want to leave it as shotgun.
Don't have to authorize it.
It's
State
already
authorized.
It will be.
DNR is it's
The only
authorized
thing we
now,
can
so
do
if we
is-
wish to change.
Will be rifle.
Right,
As
if
we
we do nothing,
may.
it will be rifle.
We're not required to do anything.
No, we're not.
Part of the problem is that county lines and their zones do not correlate.
Right.
Right.
Correct. So you could have a county like Pipestone is one way and Wood Rock would be different. There's a zone that cuts County 9 is the end of that zone. One side is 450A and one 450B.
You do take both guns with you? No, I don't know.
We talked about that as our hunting group,
I don't know.
you know, what, we have
What
the
do you
same
do?
problem with, if you get a doe tag. The doe tag is only good on this side of the road, not this side of the road. And they're fussy.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talked to.
What happens if you shoot it on one side of the road and it runs to the other side of the road?
That's what you tell them. It's, but like you say, you're gonna have,
But each county. It's not gonna be consistent.
there's gonna be a 2 mile strip there if we're different than Rock
Yeah,
County.
but then do you go by what that county is doing, or do they go by what we're doing? That's,
It's county, this is gonna be county based.
it will be.
One of my thoughts on it is the state. I mean, it'd be ridiculous for us as a county to set our own speed limits in our county, and you go across the county lines to different speed limit. How do you enforce that? How do you enforce this? I'm really disappointed that the state has passed this hot potato up. Kind of like the tobacco ordinance.
Well, we don't even really have the authority to have anything to do with gun rights or usage or whatever. I mean, it's shameful of the legislature to have passed this to counties. They should have just done their job, but
kick the can down to us.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember a number of years ago, we had that question about the speed limit going east out of Edgerton. And we wanted to decrease it, but state said you can't. I mean,
Part of that is so you don't set up speed traps for your own county, But the situation is now that the muzzle loaders have gotten so good that they're just as good as high powered rifles. Sure. So we got them guys rolling around too. Doesn't have to be the same time as shotgun slug season.
but these pistols are
They're legal
legal
too.
for deer hunting now, so then there's no difference between that and a high power rifle.
According to DNR, the shotgun only zone was originally designed not for safety, but because they thought people would kill all the deer.
Now they're getting too many deer and they want them dead.
Well, right, I wish they would increase the number of.
Chronic wasting
They allow
disease
people
is,
to stay.
they want to get them all dead before they all die naturally. Another figure somebody told me in my group, the trophy deer are gonna be gone right away. They have a lot better range and so forth. The horn hunters are gonna take them out right away. But it might kill party hunting altogether if we go to rifles. Stand someplace or make a stand or put up a stand or
I think most people are shooting from stand.
all group hunting by us,
Really?
party hunting, whatever you call it.
I've had others tell me the opposite, that they think it's mostly older people shooting from a stand.
There's no place for standby. We get deer out of fence lines and sloughs and middle of cornfields,
Mm-hmm.
If you go up to Holden Mountain Park, it's a completely different
Right.
scheme up there.
Yeah, the county changes from.
Oh, yeah,
north to south.
yeah. As far as the topography and, the cover. So, yeah, if you guys would consider perhaps in January, we have a group of sportsmen come in and share their opinions there. He said they're all over the board too, I believe, so we'll
If we
certainly give them an opportunity.
advertise enough, they can come to a commissioner meeting, don't have to have a separate meeting, I wouldn't like.
The only thing is the time of day. Yeah, I think we'd have a better opportunity for the public if we did it other than working hours.
Well, I'm not sure, but did the state give the public a chance to talk about it? So. So, I don't know.
What is the sheriff department recommendation?
Said enforcement's gonna follow the county sheriff, so.
The question's about DNR with the slug or rifle going by county.
I guess I can speak to the fact that, Sheriff Freeman and I talked about this a couple months ago when it came out kinda. And, our opinion was that we wouldn't have a stance on either side of it. It would be appropriate to whatever the board would feel.
Right.
Didn't see an issue either way in the fact of our area and the stuff we have for complaints don't really relate necessarily to the dangers that would change anything. So that's about all our discussion was about it.
Trespass is the same with a shotgun or a rifle, right?
That's usually what we're dealing with is trespassing complaints or, shooting out of vehicles, stuff like that. That's typically the complaints we're dealing with, and DNR deals with the majority of them unless they're not around, or we'll help them with them. And so, yeah.
Do you ever get called during deer season?
Oh, yeah. Yep. We certainly will. We get some calls directly to our PSAP that get forwarded over to the state patrol to dispatch a game warden, or game wardens will call on the radio right to our center, ask for help. We'll call them. Yeah. Yep. It definitely, you can tell when it's deer season. And maybe even the first weekend of pheasant sometimes gets a little, not that we're bombarded with calls, but you'll see a couple you won't normally see the rest of the year.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, we just. All right, is there any more discussion about the shotgun deer zone hunting law change? No? Okay,
Not right now.
we'll move along to our regular business. I see Kyle's here. Good morning, Kyle.
Today I've got our natural resources block grant for 26 and 27 for board approval. I do give you a little summary of it. It covers multiple programs. And then these dollars are then transferred to Soil and Water for their assistance with the oversight of the programs. Just want to make one comment. We did get another $20,000 in this grant for our 26 low-income septic grants. So right now, we've got about 50,000 in our low-income septic account to get allocated out over the next year or so. So that's generally where we try to stay around that amount. So it's nice that the state has those dollars available to give out to the low-income people with septic updates. We pay up to about 75% up to 10,000 is what we've been paying. So it covers about half the cost of the septic, just to get the money to go out to more people. Any questions on the Natural Resources Block Grant? It's an annual grant that we get for those programs. And if following approval, I'll just e-sign it and then get it sent back to the state.
Mr. Chair, I'd move for approval.
Thank you, Luke.
I'll second.
Motion second to approve the grant agreement. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries.
Need chair signature on it at all or just you?
Everything is e-signed now, so it just
Okay.
makes it much easier.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
Next up, we have Sheriff Keith Freeman. Mike, you sitting in today? Morning.
Uh-oh, guys.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, thank you today for your time. We're presenting today some quotes for replacement of our current records management, computer-aided dispatching and mobile, along with body cameras and squad cameras. Little history on some of this. In 2014, we went live with what we currently use now as LETG, Law Enforcement Technology Group. It's been a fairly good software system. It is, when we first went live, it worked very well. We were working well with the vendor originally as the company stood alone as LATG. Then in 2017, it was bought out by Zerker Tech out of Sioux Falls. Like a lot of mergers, things started to diminish in services and updates and such, but it was still good. But it started to become challenging. In 2018, then of course, Zerker sold out to TriTech, and Central Square merged at some point during that time as well. So now we're dealing with Central Square through an application that's been bought 4 times ago. So during that process in 2022, Central Square CEO sent out an email or a letter on letterhead stating that they were going to end a life LETG. Kind of a common merger issue, right, with this technology stuff these days. So we started, well, we realized before that we weren't getting updates regularly like we should have been. They weren't fixing and developing bugs like they should have been. IT was helping with a lot of things on that side of stuff as well. But it was running fine. It just wasn't like we probably should have been paid what we paid for originally in that. And I think that was pretty common across our profession throughout the state. It wasn't just Pipestone County. A lot of people were experiencing the same thing. So in 2022, we sat down, the sheriff and I and Edison sat down and we tried to figure out where we're going to go from here. And we started vetting new RMS, computer-aided dispatch and mobile software. Brought IT in and through at day one with anything that we were thinking and getting their appropriate input, making sure we weren't going down a rabbit hole that wouldn't do us any good here. And we basically come up with about 4 or 5 companies we were trying to vet. And through from 2022 till current day, we basically narrowed that down to 2. And that came with a lot of input from our IT, Sean Larson's support as well, other people throughout the state in the law enforcement arenas, and also the conversations and phone conversations we have had, the quotes and discussions and negotiations that went back and forth. as well as the input from our staff. And so that's how we vetted it down to the two that we're presenting today. So the two we're going to, some of our goals here are to, during the process of our current system, we lost our vehicle mapping for our squad cars. That's a map that interacts with the CAD through dispatch. We're hoping to get that back going, and also mapping of deputies while they're on foot. This new system should help us facilitate some of that. Interoperability within our dispatch center through smartphones. Other agencies such as our local fire departments and ambulances. There's an application that can be on smartphones now that will be more user friendly from our dispatch to those agencies, if those agencies so decide they want to go along with that. It's called Field Operations. A lot of license plates, driver's license, auto populations. So their dispatcher runs something and it automatically populates into CAD. That's something we had at the beginning of LETG, worked well, started to phase. They weren't repairing it, weren't fixing it. And that's been a big push, big response or input from our employees that they missed. So we'll get that back in with this too, moving forward here. We're having issues with evidence gathering when we have large cases. The current system gets logged or bogged down real fast. If we're at a crime scene and there's 500 photos to upload, it's getting to the point where we're actually offloading them to a different site through using IT to help us through different servers to set them on. This system will actually help us be able to corral that into a specific evidence software with it as well. And both the companies we're gonna describe today will do that. Redaction software through the current era of data requests and stuff, we're seeing an increase of that stuff. A lot of this stuff in the new system, AI is going to be a factor in some of those data redactions, which will help for hours of staff timing and staff pressure when those data requests come in.
Yeah, redaction's a huge thing now that's why we haven't done the body cameras yet. Is right now, if me and Mike get stopped on a traffic stop and our squad camera video is rolling, everyone gets a copy of that squad camera video. With the body cameras, if I'm in the vehicle and I want to copy the body camera, Mike has to be redacted out of that video. I don't get a video copy from the body camera with him in it. He has to be redacted out. He gets a copy, I have to be redacted out, as well as anyone in the background. So it's a huge time thing. These softwares will do that by AI. We can tell them redact people out, certain people, objects, and then they'll also go through and you can watch video. You can type in keyword gun and it'll search through that video and say, oh, there's a gun that's seen right here. Pick different items out like that. So.
At my job, there's a similar software that we use too. It was called Brief Cam too, and I think I presented that to you guys when you visited too. And yeah, it's AI can filter out all kinds of things, animals, different types of vehicles. It can separate like a motorcycle from a bicycle and things like that. That's just even stuff I use in my job. So I imagine theirs is a lot more specific and whatnot. But I mean, it's workable programs. I mean,
it's amazing. You can go back through squad cam video as a deputy's driving to a scene. You can put in searching for a red truck.
Yep.
And it'll pop up the video. It could be from us driving from here to Edgerton, meeting 30, 40 cars, and it'll pop out that one vehicle video right back to it. So.
Could you maybe summarize a little bit too, the whole computer aided dispatching? So the scope of all capabilities are, so if a call comes into the dispatch center, then the dispatcher is going to be able to pull up and see where every police officer is, every vehicle is at through GPS and cell phones and so forth. So that'll also help the dispatcher know who's the closest to the scene. Is that part of this as well too?
Yeah, and actually, that will be something that will be available to the dispatcher 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every minute. That's on a screen that's there. It shows the squad cars. But it does help organize which squad car might be closer. Now, on the size of our county, after a while, the dispatcher has the geographics down enough to know, okay, well, this is in the northwest side of the county and we've got a car up there or whatever.
How about other agencies, state, other counties?
Yep. This current program would not work with our other allied agencies that are within the county.
How about our EMS?
It can if that agency wants to. If that particular first responder, fire or EMS agency wanted to interact with our CAD, They would have to do some things on their end, but we could certainly accept it.
The software will allow us to give them an application that they could run on either a tablet or a phone. It would give them GPS turn by turn directions, call information live as it came up. It's included in one of the packages that we have here today. And then our dispatch center will be able to GPS all that too, as well as the officer responding. We could see fire trucks coming, EMS rigs, fire chiefs.
I probably even so far down as to the call or calling in. If it's on a cell phone, it's gonna pin their location as well too.
Well, that's a different portion of it, but it does. Yes, it's not the actual, that's the anti-alley spills that come in from 911 through a 911 call. So that's happening in the 911 system. That is also communicating with the CAD system and merging that information. So the CAD is reaching for that. But if say CAD was down or we didn't have CAD, we would still have that from an emergency response standpoint.
This would.
But this communicates with it. And certainly, you know, with our mapping software, that's part of vetting this process is we want to make sure the vendors we're going with CAD are going to work with our mapping software vendors we're already using. So kind of gets to be a little bit complicated, but we feel like we've vetted that fairly well so far, and, you know, hence the reason why we're.
And then one of our last goals that we set when we first started putting it together was hardware with IT. We wanted to maintain our servers like we currently do now. We have servers built, we have IT staff that's phenomenal for our use. And so talking with them, talking with Sean Larson that was one of our goals, to be able to maintain and own our own software, our hardware. We would control our backups, make sure everything was done appropriately. And some of the cloud-based stuff that's out there, we are okay with like the video offloading to a cloud. But as far as our records management, our reports, our name database, our jail information, we wanted to be able to maintain that in-house here as we were looking through all these companies.
Kind of a lot of information quickly, but before we go any further, was there any other questions or anything we?
Luke?
Is there like unlimited storage for, I thought I saw a couple things where it mentions unlimited. I'm assuming it refers to storage possibly, or?
So the storage for the video was the unlimited part.
Okay.
So video camera storage, that
Cause that would take quite a bit, I'm assuming.
correct. Right now, we're currently housing it on servers with the current system that we have. It's housed on servers here. So IT is responsible for building those servers up, backing them up. So we're, you know, storing it twice. With the new camera system, it's actually going to offload to a gov cloud. It's going to be a secure government, you know, vetted cloud. And that's the unlimited storage that can go up there.
Which is kind of part of, we've been talking about the body camera portion of this for, I don't know, what, 4 years now? Funding's been quite the problem. I mean, not the problem, but the funding's what we want to get lined up with. We've had the funding through the one-time public safety aid money. We've earmarked for that. Now we've just been making sure we can support actually having the body cameras. For the redaction part of it, which is where the AI is coming in to help us, we were concerned about, the sheriff was concerned about staffing. Would we need to add staff? The cost of that? Well, this AI is going to help us. We feel where we won't need that. The other thing was the storage, the load it would put on IT for storage for that. And that's why IT has been okay. I don't mean to speak for Bill, but in our conversations, he is okay with us going to the cloud-based service with the video.
Everybody's right behind you.
But so those are the two biggest hurdles we were getting over to bring this to you for the last 4 years. And that's why we feel we're there today, because we figured we've mitigated those.
And I know last week I spent quite a bit of time with both these gentlemen talking about a lot of this stuff too, and they answered a lot of my questions too. And that was one of my concerns about where the video would be stored, and encrypting the data like that. That's the best practice that you can do right there. Because even if somehow somebody was able to get that data, it's encrypted. They couldn't do anything with it. You know, so, and that's a huge thing there. In today's age, we're heavily use, you know, internet pirates that are trying to, you know, do ransom and stuff like that. That's where you're seeing a lot of agencies going to, is encrypting data into clouds and stuff like that to protect their.
But wasn't part of the reason that we hadn't done this already was the cost of, if we had to store it ourselves?
Yeah, and yep.
Yeah, storing the video right now. Right now, when we're storing it in house, we're dumbing down some of the video from high definition to standard definition. But you only get one chance to do that. So now it turns into a bigger case. You're pulling up a standard, a lower definition video to try and get detail. Well, it's not there anymore. Cloud, one thing, it's gonna allow us to have that full high definition video for everything too.
Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill, are you want to the main spot, I guess, and answer a question, any questions that these guys have? So I know I've had a chance to talk to Bill and like I said, these two gentlemen too. They think they have a rock solid plan for this.
Yeah, this is gonna work well. Dividing it up. Pushing the video away from us is going to enhance the video, like Edison's saying, but it's also gonna allow them to use this AI function that's built into the cloud part of it. Not that we have that. If we were gonna do a redaction in-house, we're talking a forensic type machine, probably 15,000-20,000 just for that machine, plus somebody to use it. It can be done, but that'd be a whole nother position, I would think.
I would assume with the original raw footage though, that's retained as well too after AI. So if there's ever a question in court about did something get redacted, you can go back to the original footage and show it as well.
The cloud has the chain of custody
Has
pieces
everything,
that they all need.
And being in the cloud, it has that chain of custody. So there's a running log of everything that's been done to that video. If it's been viewed, if it's been edited, changed anywhere, and then that original video is always there.
Yeah.
I know when I first came on the board and went to some of the AMC conferences, that was one of the big concerns, especially with the large counties, on how much cost they had in redacting information. And it was just astronomical and they didn't know what they were going to do. This is way before AI came onto the scene too. So it's that, technology is kind of developing, with us too. So
It's only getting better too. So
absolutely.
Sheriff Freeman couldn't make it today, but that was his, as you guys remember in our previous conversations, that was our fear, was that what you guys have discussed. And I think that we've overcome that, a lot of that stuff now. And we're at the point where we feel we've got the funding, and I'll break that down here for you, and to move forward. So with that being said, back to the history part of it, we started this with an RMS CAD mobile project. Through that process, when we decided we were vetting Motorola as a possible final vendor, but we were also working with WatchGuard, who Motorola bought, who we currently have for the body cameras system. And it was two different conversations, but during our negotiations over the last, 2 years, because these prices have significantly changed since our first day sitting down for competition reasons. And the market's turned to our favor for once in competition. Some of these numbers were 75% higher 2 years ago than they are sitting here today. Which is another reason why we feel like we probably should move forward before that market swaps back the other way again, and we see the other side of that. But with that being said, we approached Motorola, I should be fair about that. We approached Motorola about consolidating the two projects to see for a better cost-effective savings, and they come forward and said we'd be willing to do that. So then we needed to vet back then who's our other vendor on competitive bidding for the camera system, and we come up with Axon, who is probably the leading or second leading. If it's WatchGuard, Axons are probably the state's two main. Minnesota's the agencies in Minnesota, 2 states, probably the 2 largest vendors. And so we come back, and so to work through some of the worksheets that are in there, because they're complicated to follow a little bit, I kind of just hand wrote on the top of. There's a 2-page one that says Motorola Flex mobile video. In the first page of that, when you see Flex Suite price, that's that RMS CAD mobile.
in jail.
And civil, and the other things that come with our RMS system, right? And when you see the mobile video price, that is the mobile videos in the squad cars and the body cameras. And all the supporting equipment that comes with that. Then the combined price to the right are those two put together. Now, obviously with one company, that's easy to put on there for you. Now, when we look at this to try to put it against, okay, what if we what if our other vendor was Central Square, we felt with RMS CAD Mobile. And to stick with the Motorola cameras, if you go to the next one, which says CAD Mobile RMS camera, overview 3 pages. That helps spell out, okay, the Motorola package deal is what you see at the top of page 1, and at the bottom of page 1 of 3 is the Central Square Motorola camera. If you follow me there, try to split that out, because those numbers are different. Obviously, the Motorola camera numbers are different if we don't bundle it with the Motorola RMS CAD Mobile.
And buying the cameras alone, they would only guarantee us in contract for 5 years. Where when we bundle it with their RMS, the records management system, they're giving us an 8-year contract with that at a lower price.
The vendors, all the vendors we talked to in this process wanted to do a 5-year. When we got to the end of the 2 companies, we decided we felt we could work with well. Then we started discussions after consolidating the projects to save money. Then we started talking, okay, we want another 5 years. Because they're talking at the end of the 5 years, a 6 to 10% increase after the first 5 years. That's just what they were saying in today's market. And well, if you started adding 6 or 10% to some of these numbers at year 5, I mean, that's going to be crazy numbers yet still at years 7, 8, 9, 10. So we felt if we could lock that in, the downside of that is you're putting all your eggs in one basket. If something goes.
That was an annual increase?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's annually.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And that is how
and-
Central Squares is after 5 years, it's annual increase of 5% per year. And then they can, obviously change in contract after 5 years.
Then you see those numbers in the bottom one where you see Central Square. You see those numbers increase significantly years 6 through 10. I mean, Motorola said, okay, here's what we'll just leave them the same. And it at the end of the day, you'll see the numbers aren't drastically different, but it definitely made the application that we're going to request today to move forward with cheaper fiscally, and we feel a better program. So that's a lot of.
Don't see in this breakdown with the Axon numbers. I think when we got our bid back from Axon, the bid from Axon for a 60-month deal, same as WatchGuard, was $356,677, where Motorola came back substantially lower than that. So that right away, we tried with Axon, but their numbers were just
Then you'll see that's
a lot
page 3 of 3 of that. That was basically to competitively bid our cameras apples to apples for you guys to.
And the camera's also on top of the body cams for deputies in jail. The squad cameras, we also have 2 interview rooms that we're updating to. So inside the office with different cameras, microphones, that we can pick up a lot more detail.
And if this is a decision that's made moving forward with the Motorola cameras, we're also going to be adding the body cameras to the correctional officers in the jail. That's in this price. Don't have that now, obviously.
So the number on page 2 is what we're looking at, the 219.
The 219 is if we went with just cameras alone. So that 219 would be comparable to the Axon's 356,000.
Okay, and what's the other number that we have to look at?
So on page 1, what we're looking at is page 1 at the top where it says Motorola package deal. That right there is the cameras and the whole RMS package.
It's this one right here, this one that has page 1 of 3 at the bottom, right?
Okay.
And that would be, the other documents kind of support this, but this probably lays it out best, apples. So the top with the blue heading on it, you can see it's 1,014,116 at the 10-year mark. And then below that says Central Square plus Motorola cameras. That would be going with Central Square, staying with the Motorola cameras because we feel Axon's just not even in the ballpark for us fiscally wise. And then that's 1,000,000. 26,120. So really, those are the two numbers that land at the end.
That's a 10-year number, not,
That's a 10-year number.
Mhm.
it's a little scary when you look at it
But
right
it's a
away.
10-year number. It's a 10-year number. And so, and on the top, you can see at year one,
Mhm.
that's our in going into the system number. And then renewals after that annually are spelt out.
Just yearly payments then.
Right, then there'll be yearly payments for those 10 years.
How much of that budget, how much is that gonna take up of your total budget?
Okay, so we'll break that down here the best I can for you. And I'm using the example of the Motorola package deal. Okay, top of page 1 of 3. 264,935 is the first year. Now that's paid out in installments. That's on the page 2 of price summaries handout. If you look at that, you can see 20%, 20%. If you see that, it's the page 2 of 2.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I tried to do the best I could. It's,
Yeah.
Great.
so you can see that, okay, the amount, we're not striking a check for 264,935. That's gonna get broke out in those installments as you see that steps 1 through 6 under payment milestones. The go live date on this is, we're hoping January 2027. Okay? So that'll help explain here the budget numbers a little bit through 26. So right now, we currently have budgeted the 32,000 and some change for the current RMS system. We feel IT has advised us that we should continue to pay that for 26 to support our current system.
And that'll just be dash cam, that still won't be body cam.
That is just RMS, just RMS CAD mobile, just RMS CAD mobile. To initiate the camera system, you're looking at that 54,935 number, and those installments are broke out in here at the 20%, so forth, so on. Those are numbers in the 2026 budget that, we do not have line itemed in there, but we feel we're gonna figure out a way to hopefully get that balanced here as we move forward. And some of that's going to come, and this is how that's gonna break down, okay?
And the RMS is about a 1-year build. The cameras, from the time that we say go, it's 60 to 90 days and they'll be operational.
So we'll have body cameras and squad cameras in about 3 months running. Now, out of that 54,000, we have $45,000 set aside for armor money, radio communication system. It's not grant orientated. It's not earmarked by any special funds. It was money put aside in a budget talks. We're not even sure when. Amanda and I were going through some book work and we'd seen that was there. And so the sheriff would like to take that 45,000 out of there, which is currently funded in that account, and put it towards that 54,935. So then we got $9,000. We're gonna, through our equipment fund or something, we'll watch expenses on the other side of that. That kind of leaves our balance then at about 219,935. We have $100,000 in public safety aid money that Steve's you kind of have been wrangling that, right? That's the one-time money that was 3 years ago we got.
Yep.
That was what we earmarked originally for the $80,000 body camera project that we thought was gonna be 80 to 88,000 all by itself. That's why it's still here. Wanted to keep it for that.
Right.
That brings our balance down to the $119,935. And the remainder of that would be for our RMS system, which can be paid now moving forward with 911 funds. So in theory, minus the $9,000 in full transparency, there isn't an impact to the line item budget, if that makes sense. And we'll just try to balance that $9,000 out of other expenses somehow. We feel like we can walk into this with some funds we have set aside, funds we were hoping to move forward with. Currently, right now, we get about $14,000 a month in 911 funds. Now that's legislation appropriated. That's obviously can change any year. We always keep that in mind, right? But out of that monthly expense, we expect to spend $5,833 on the RMS system. So that's gonna continue to keep a positive growing balance in our 911 fund. And the 1667 is gonna be for the cameras, $1,667 a month. Which working on the 27 budget, we'll have to get in there. When we get to that point. You all right there?
Yeah, great.
Oh,
Quick question, what's the lifespan of the cameras? They're gonna last 10 years?
that's a good question. So the body camera system this quote comes with a refresh with a system. In 3 years, you get brand new body cameras. Then at the third year, you can expand it to the 8 years. So they really only offer a 5. At year 3, you can expand it. You can expand that current 5-year, another 3, making it 8. So at year 3 or 4, you get brand new ones. That brings you into the 8th year with your seconds for new ones. During that 8 years, if one gets wrecked, because just yesterday we had wrecked some equipment on a guy that was wrestling with someone. It happens, and body cameras are right here, so they're gonna get wrecked. They're gonna get they're replaced, no questions asked. They send us a new one. Battery goes bad, something falls apart, but they're pretty tough.
Yeah, they're pretty rugged. They're made to get wet, to bang around. But yeah, if the lens gets scratched or something gets break, we send it back to Motorola, they send us a new one. So and then the car cameras, their lifespan, yeah, is about the 10 years.
I'll add just one more thing quick I missed here. When we talked about the 119,935 from the 911 funds, we currently have 205,779 in there. So that leaves a positive balance after that's taken out of 85,844. Now, clearly that's not gonna be expended out in 26 really yet either. By 100% anyway. As the project moves forward, it'll be in that percentage pay range that you see in the pricing summary. I'm sorry, the payment milestones. So what we're asking for today is to move forward with what's been presented to move forward with the Motorola RMS CAD Mobile Flex Suite system and the Motorola body camera, in-squad refresh, issuing brand new body cameras. That's what we're asking for today.
Here, I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Support that.
Motion second, go with Motorola for the CAD mobile RMS. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Directed to Bill, as far as is, the software programming in support of that. And some of the other things we find with software all the time, all of a sudden it's no longer supported. Of course, this is a 10-year contract, so that won't be an issue.
Not gonna be a
Are
problem.
you very comfortable with this choice as well, too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I will mention one more thing too. One of the biggest factors that brought us to Motorola was the size of the company. They bought this, the Flex program was actually originally called the Spielman program. He was the gentleman that developed it, built it, rolled it out. Motorola bought it from that person or that company. And we feel like, and this is something it's not new to Motorola, but this, how they're rolling it out is new. And, we feel like with the hardships we went through with LETG getting bought out a couple, 3, 4 times, I don't know that we're gonna see that with Motorola because of the size of the company. And that was really what was probably just as appealing as our staff input. And this is how we kind of liked it for what that's worth.
Well, even, your handheld in front of you is a Motorola. Over the years, Motorola has proven itself to be the leader. That you've never gone wrong buying Motorola, in my opinion.
That's true.
Yeah.
Motorola was the one company too, when we talked about wanting to house our servers and maintain our stuff, Motorola said, no problem. Central Square they will not allow that. They want to provide the equipment and they want to provide this hardware maintenance with it. And that was just something that we thought we're better off letting our IT take care of that. Which Motorola has no problem with.
Let me go back to the budget question one more time. And it's great. We've got some seed money to get the ball rolling here. So in another year, 2 years going down the road, what impact is this going to have on your operating budget as we go through this 10-year program, this 10-year contract?
Well, so if the 911 funds continue to stay where they're at, there will be none. In fact, there will be less of an impact because right now we're paying about a little over $32,000 a year for our RMS out of the 201. And that won't come out of that for RMS because we'll paying that out of the 911 funds. But The $20,000 a year for the cameras will be coming out of 201 where it hasn't in the past. Well, honestly, it's gonna show about a $12,000 to the black. If you went back to last year and looked numbers to numbers, once we get to 27, if you follow me on.
But still, it's manageable. It's not gonna be a dominating factor in the budget.
The only factor would be is if the 911 funds drag,
Right,
which we're gonna have more to talk about than just this if that happens.
Right.
So we're fortunate. So the big push is the legislation keep. And that's I mean, obviously everybody feels that way, so I hope that that will.
And by starting this process now, again, it's gonna be 2027 before we actually have body cameras on every office.
No,
No?
3 months. I would say by
About 7
February, we'll have body cameras,
Okay.
new squad cameras, new body cameras, operational and working. It's the RMS, the records management.
Would be 2027. Okay.
They're saying, when we ask them, plan on 2027, January 2027, it could be earlier, depending on how they build out the system. But they wanted to give us that as a safe date, you know, so they're not missing
Well, I'm glad
timeline.
to hear that this could get implemented in the near future because it advocated before for officer protection, for our liability, the public. This is certainly the right decision.
within 90 days, I would say we should have the body cameras and the squad cameras should be outfitted and going. Need any issues, but I think that should be they seemed very confident in that, if not 60. Yeah, the RMS CAD mobile, that's a little different beast because that takes a lot of there's data conversion that's going on. They're building things. We've got to go through a lot of things on our side to see what we want, don't want.
In fact, how much of that labor is gonna fall on Bill's IT department to implement this?
Not a lot. Not a lot. They'll take care of them. We'll have to get them data or give them access, but they'll be the ones doing the conversions.
Dallas?
Just one comment, how do your deputies feel about this? Are they looking
So-
forward to it, or are they going?
Yeah, the deputies themselves have been asking for body cameras for
Long time.
a long time.
Yeah.
So
And we've mentioned that in discussions in the past. Again, the only reason why it was held back is because the fiscal strain it would have taken on the department, not the wanting of them. Our officers, the deputies and the correctional officers too, they want these. But with the squad cameras, we see that they're very beneficial to have as well.
just a practical manner, how do they turn on and off? Can you turn them on and off? Can the body cam wearer turn it off?
Yep, so if they're in the squad and they activate their emergency lights, everything turns on.
Automatically?
Squad automatically turns on, body camera automatically
Okay.
turns. If they're out away from it, they're at the county fair and something happens, they can hit it,
Yeah.
turn it right on, it activates and starts going. And automatic downloads, they don't have to take it off and download it, it's automatic. There's enhancements that we can have later on down the line where you can actually live stream to the dispatch console. So you have a guy working at night and they're at a domestic, you could live stream that back to a dispatch console so they could have that extra, you know.
Somebody else will be able to watch it.
Right.
Live. real time.
Or if you got something where a supervisor needs to watch it or should be watching it. But at this point, the cost of that isn't anything we're even entertaining because the cost is, we feel that it'd be nice. But it just, yeah, but there's a lot of things that are gonna, and I suspect within this 10 years, there's gonna be.
Yeah, it'll be a normal thing.
And I do think that Motorola, and I think Central Square probably would have too, if they remained Central Square. If there was changes, they would roll with that with us, but yeah.
How do they get recharged? You do that off duty or is that
Yeah, there'll be a docking station up at the sheriff's office.
you clock
There'll
out?
be an extra one or two inside there. So if theirs was to die, they just swap it out, grab another one. It's automatically gonna know who's got it
No,
once they get to the car.
that was my next question. And do they have to log in to each?
If there's docking stations in the cars that it'll communicate with. Or you could charge it in the dock station in the car, or they'll have a charging little puck at home that they could charge it on also.
Batteries have to be updated or changed or anything like that, or is it all sealed?
There may have to be changed, but they're a part of the replacement of this. So there won't be a cost to us during that 8 years.
And you've got spares in case one gets damaged in
Yes.
heat of an event.
Yep.
You have a total number of them you're gonna buy?
I believe it,
If we can have that.
have to look back, I wanna say there's
So long ago.
17 plus
19 or 20, I think.
20?
Well,
I think it's 20
When you include the jail staff and things like
Yeah.
that.
and a spare.
Good.
Dan had mentioned liability earlier and you guys have talked about in the past about how the dash cams have been absolutely valuable. So now adding body cams in the interview room too, updating those is really intriguing to me, so.
Officers deserve to have the tools they need to be effective in their job, and this is a huge.
Jailers too, getting them is
Yeah, protect them.
very big, so.
One more thing, if you allow me.
Absolutely.
Just, I got my packet and I looked through that and I was, wow, you did an excellent job of explaining to us what the difference is and how, so thank you for that. You've been working on this a while, I know.
That's why we need. Like, wow, we should know that like that, but that was like a year or two ago when we got to that point. Well, and Sheriff Freeman and I talked a little bit last week about it, like, because the numbers were big and we're like, do we, you needed to see what was gonna happen and hopefully we did a decent job trying to get.
Did, excellent.
Very nice, yeah.
Thank you
Well
guys.
done.
And Bill, it's a team effort.
Uh,
I think everybody's.
We couldn't do any of this without the IT department, all of them. We can't say enough. It's there. Without them, we wouldn't have. We're very lucky to have that.
Still have a
Yeah.
motion on the table. Is there any further discussion?
Call the question.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
What about the grant agreement?
Oh, yeah, sorry, guys, we have a grant agreement we need to talk about yet.
Got it. Mike,
I forgot,
agreement for the crimes task force?
yeah, I forgot about that one. Sorry about that,
I
Mike.
need to bring it down. I'm sorry.
We got spares.
Got that other thing.
Yeah.
So so this is something we have been doing annually. It involves with the Buffalo Ridge Drug Task Force and Violent Crimes. At this point, it's been, 2 years. We apply to the Department of Justice Office of Public Safety to help on the, fiscal side of the Buffalo Ridge Drug and Violent Crimes Task Force. Excuse me. We, the commander did obviously the application again this year. Every year we keep hearing, not sure what's gonna happen with the funds, if any, but there was an option again this year for that. So, he applied for that. We were, issued that grant, by the contract that shows here. And, you can see that we have 2 rounds of funding for $144,537. So what we need, and Pipestone County is the fiscal agent for the task force. So due to that reason, we need action by this board to accept that and to continue the operations. Nothing's gonna change with the operations that we see with this funding, and we don't see requesting any other funding because of the amount of this funding directly from anything locally.
Make a motion to accept agreement.
I'll second.
Motion second to approve, grant with the violent crime enforcement teams. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And you'll get a resolution together then, Steve, for it, or?
Need a resolution for this one?
No.
Hmm.
I'll look back, see if we have one from last time. I don't recall that, but
Yeah,
I've got the
okay,
documents here to sign, so
yeah.
this is contract agreement, so.
Okay.
Get it signed.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else with Mike while we have him here? No? All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Is there any,
Hear that wild turkey run around? That's hilarious watching that thing.
doesn't like white vehicles. One by Hanks doesn't like white vehicles.
Yep.
Seems to chase. All right, is there any other business come before this board?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
10:19. Thank you, Dan.